Dr. Philip Mathew is a public health consultant to ReAct Asia Pacific, an international science-based networking on the issue of antibiotic resistance. He is interested in exploring community mobilization as a methodology to implement the national action plans on antimicrobial resistance, apart from designing templates for the community-owned action for a better access to healthcare. Philip is also functioning as an associate professor of community medicine at Pushpagiri Institute of Medical Sciences, Tiruvalla, India. Besides, he is a doctoral researcher with the Health Systems and Policy Research Group of Department of Global Public Health of Karolinska Institute, Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome you, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Sir, do the environmental impact assessment studies include the possibilities of emergence of resistant organisms due to the waste disposal, especially in the pharmaceutical sectors?
Yes, I think the environmental impact assessment notification, which came back in 2006, was a fabulous step forward in the sense that there was a sustainability lens introduced into many industrial activities, which included, of course, manufacturing of pharmaceutical ingredients. And pharmaceuticals in that case was classified as category A, which required an environmental impact assessment study. It required public consultations to happen, and several other paraphernalia associated with this particular notification. So that was category A, which required central permission, and it was supposed to be submitted to the Central Pollution Control Board. But then what happened in 2020 was that that notification was amended, and pharmaceuticals were actually put into a different category called category B2. Initially, it was supposed to be only for 6 months, but then we really don't know whether it will be extended or not. So the entire idea with category B2 is that it does not need an EIA study, or even it does not need a public consultation, and the sanction can be given by the respective state pollution control boards and the state government. So effectively, we have ended up diluting the EIA principle, the environmental impact assessment principle, which was a great step to actually look at various aspects of environmental damage an industry can cause. And in the particular case of pharmaceutical manufacturing plants, we were worried about the kind of effluents which are coming out, the robustness of the CETPs which are in place, and various other things. And so all that was essentially diluted in 2020, which is totally unfortunate. So to answer your question, yes, EIA was comprehensive, and it was supposed to look after various aspects of environmental impact probably coming from pharmaceutical manufacturing plants, but then unfortunately it got diluted in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Philip Mathew, what is the significance of the Government of India proposing antibiotic residue limits for pharmaceutical effluents? How will it affect the pharmaceutical industry of India?
Yes, so India has been one of the first countries in the to propose maximum residual limits for pharmaceutical effluents, for antibiotic residues. So that is quite significant because that is extremely proactive. India being one of the largest manufacturers of pharmaceutical products, and we are known as the pharmacy for the developing world, so we have to be more responsible in our manufacturing process. So that responsibility was seen in the draft notification, but unfortunately again the draft came out, but then it was not officially notified. So we have a fabulous draft which is still under consultation more than 6 to 9 months, for more than 6 to 9 months. So that is significant because it shows the world that we are responsible producers, and there are various aspects of it. One is not all pharmaceutical manufacturing is done by larger companies. A lot of outsourcing happens in pharmaceutical manufacturing. If you go to places like Hyderabad, you can see a lot of small and medium level units doing a lot of manufacturing. So they really may not have access to funds. So essentially what is going to happen is there is going to be an increase in cost if and when it's officially notified. the additional cost of installing facilities for taking out this extra residues from the effluents will be actually passed on to the customers, or rather the consumers in this case. You know, we have to have a fine line separating out access issues from the sustainability issues. So when we actually propose certain things for improving the sustainability measures of pharmaceutical manufacturing, we have to make sure that, you know, these kind of things do not affect the access to these medicines, especially in the developing country markets. So you know, when we introduce access, these kind of sustainability measures, the cost is essentially borne by the end consumer. Okay, we have to understand that. So where do you find the balance is the question, is actually the million-dollar question here. You know, to sum up, it's a fabulous way forward. That is one of the most significant, or rather a very landmark notification to come from the government of India regarding pharmaceutical manufacturing. But then how is it going to be, and when it's implemented, who is going to bear the cost? These are the two worries that we have. And the second side of it is the implementation. You know, we have like India is a country with fabulous rules. Okay, I think Dr. Robin knows it much better than me. But then our implementation always lags behind. You know, we don't have any dearth of notifications or even legislations on these kind of contentious issues. But then how do you enforce it? Whether our local state pollution control boards do have the capacity to do the testing and enforce it on the ground? Those are things that we probably need to answer at a later stage. So having a notification, having a regulation is one thing, and implementing it on the ground is an entirely different thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.